So happy in the morning. What a good boy. Such a good boy. So I mentioned the helicopters. The whole world is just covered in 3-inch helicopters. This is just one day's worth. And the trees are still loaded. This is the front garden. I don't think I've ever shown the front garden. These are my giant bleeding hearts. This one's actually the small one. And then just some really beautiful hostas back here. Once this bleeding heart dies back, then this real tall hosta grows up and is kind of the gem in that corner, and it covers the sub pump back there. So I need to edge this garden too. I need to do something out here, like replant all these beautiful hostas so that they're not on top of each other. They're old, so they're on top of each other now. And then here is the giant bleeding heart that just gets the perfect amount of morning and afternoon, late afternoon sun. As it's setting, it comes over the fence there and just makes this it's probably 6 feet or 5 feet across it, and about 4 feet tall. So anyways, and then just some stuff back here. The bunny gets in back there and thins things out, but yeah, it's a fun front garden. And then tank. And then there's this garden that's around our front maple tree. This one really, we never water out here, so this one kind of has to fend for itself. It's got hostas, lots of daylilies, orange and yellow daylilies, and then some tiger lilies. Those phlox are volunteers. I didn't plant them, so I assume this bird's planted them for me. Looks like it needs to be weeded. I've got some grass that's taller than the plants out here. And then we have a garden critter. Tank has been known to catch rabbits in this garden because the little rabbits hang out here. We've got some hostas tucked in there. These are actually not weeds. They are garlic chives. So in the fall they get the beautiful white flowers that the pollinators love. So that's why I leave them out here. And I figure they're so invasive that it'll be good for them to take over out here. So yeah, just a pretty little garden. Usually this year has been so cool and overcast. Usually these hostas get really sunburned, but they're doing really good this year. Look at this driveway. It is dang near covered. And then into the backyard, and it just gets covered in helicopters with, and it makes it so hard to grow grass seed back here where the, dog spots are, because now we need to rake up or vacuum up with either the yard vacuum, the bagger, or whatever, all of these tree seeds, and that takes up all of our grass seeds. So it's just a exercise, and it's constant. So it's going to go. So right now we've got helicopters, and then there's an ash tree, elm tree, I don't know what these little round things are back there that are apparently really prolific this year. And then, given not very much time, the giant cottonwood is going to start, and it's going to snow. And look who I found back in the compost pile, taking care of the compost. So I thought I would show a little bit of that this is our, I don't know, what is all this, Bill? This is the newest one? And then you're transferring it into that one to kind of turn it a little bit?
Just turn it up.
Yeah. And you pulled all of that out, and I have a wheelbarrow full down by the garden that's going to go in, and then a bucket full here. And so this will be done in about how long, do you think? Like another month?
The black one turned fast.
Yeah. We got the, you can see the, kind of cooking sooty ash that forms. I'm guessing that it's partially, a little bit of mold and soot, from it getting so warm in there.
Yep, that's warm.
So you can see the steam coming off of it, even though it's a warm day today. Yeah, so got some good, healthy compost. Okay, this might be a fun before and after of the garden. I am going to come in here, and obviously these irises don't like their home. Like, there's irises on either side of this. They've been here now for 2 years, and they aren't doing much. So, they don't like it here. That's all right. I'm going to go, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them yet, so I just have a box. I'm going to dig this all up, and I'm going to replant it with something else that hopefully will look prettier. So that's the before, and then I'll show the after. My other plan for the day is back here behind, this is the blueberry plants, and back here behind the blueberry plants is always just kind of this, I don't know, it's always a struggle. There's always weeds, and nobody really can get back here. I do have one of these things that later in the summer we'll see, but these get almost 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. They're over the fence for sure. And, but they're kind of intrusive, and I have a lot of them. There's actually one right next door that's living inside these lilies here that about halfway through the summer I just end up chopping it down because they're really big. So, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to dig all of this up, and I am going to plant, I have some extra elephant ear bulbs that I'm going to put back here, and then that will possibly be for some fun stepping stones. So I'm going to dig these all out of here and get some funner things planted in here. So, okay, I have a redneck confession to make. I have been using my trellis, since there's nothing growing on it, as a clothesline. That is the quilt that I made probably 10 years ago. It was my first attempt at making a quilt, and I washed it yesterday and hung it out here to dry, so a little bit redneck, but it's the morning after a storm last night, and it's just so beautiful out here. I wanted to record some of it. The maple seed helicopter situation is completely out of control right now, but it's still beautiful back here. Hey, look at, we have a garden critter. So I had a bunny run through the garden earlier, and so Tank is doing his part to try and track it down. I think he chased her because I heard him barking after the bunny ran through the front, and I don't know how they're getting in the fence. We always try to, oh, there's how they're getting in the fence. Never mind, I just figured it out. Look at the sunshine gap under the fence right there. So we need to figure something out there. I really am thinking about running like chicken wire, burying chicken wire, especially along this front part here, because this is where they always come. They usually come in back in that corner, and we have it filled with rocks and all kinds of stuff, but I'm sure she just came in right there. She wasn't that big, so yeah. Anyways, here's the little bit of a garden update. I did end up digging all of the things that were back here yesterday. So this is going to be elephant ears. There's 4 small bulbs of elephant ears that got put in there. It does look like one of my blueberries here, the sad one in the back, is actually starting to bloom. Amazon is scheduled to deliver the fertilizer for them today, so I'm hoping that is the case. We do have another garden critter here. Hi, garden critter. That's a good garden critter. That's a bunny chasing garden critter. Tank, hi. Are you soaking wet? He runs under the hostas looking for the bunnies, and we'll get that on video one of these days. But he's been doing that all morning. So this area is all dug out. This is where the irises were, and I just didn't like them. You know, I have better things that can go here. So I am going to plant a couple of tomato plants along the fence back there. I don't know what I'll put in the front. Maybe some annuals when they go on sale here. Pretty soon annuals should start going on sale. Same with over here. Maybe a couple of tomato plants along the back, along that fence too, and we'll just see. We'll see how much the trellis shades it. And here's the irises I dug out. We were discussing putting them, Bill had a great idea to maybe put them under our pine tree and see how well they do back there. So I might put maybe half of them there and half of them in the death garden, and just see how they do. I know that historically they've done pretty well in the death garden, that I've gotten irises to bloom back there, and then I'm all excited about them. I dig them up and I bring them into the main garden, and then they don't do anything. So I think that they're going to have to just learn a lesson and stay back there. These two little pots go back into the garden once I'm finished digging. I need to do something with this, like, with this edge. It's ugly. It's just very disorganized, so I'm going to edge this garden and again, plant stuff back here. I mean, eventually we just won't mow anymore, but here is the Kajari melons. Look at how great they're doing. I have just completely neglected and ignored them for a few days, and they're huge. I love it. Here's the honey nut squash that I'm going to have to thin out, which is sad. Sunset runner beans are getting huge over here. They were just little seedlings last week, so they aren't making any tentacles that I can see yet. Any little growers, but they are getting their second sets of leaves on them, so that's a great progress. Same with the honey bear squash over here. And yeah, I've been using the trellis as a clothesline. It's so redneck, but it totally works. So all our blankets and sheets were able to hang out on the line the other day. This is the another just update on the trumpeter vine. It really does look like it took a pretty good hit this winter. While it is coming back, thank goodness, it is sporadic on these branches. They're normally a lot fuller than that. So I don't know if it's just, again, going to take a little bit more time, because look at, there's some just coming up there and right on the end of that one. So maybe I'm just still being impatient. I dug out there was, I think I have a video of it, but there was a hosta with an orange daylily growing in it, and the two were just so mixed up. This hosta was actually in the back corner back by the irises. So, and reading the tag, it's supposed to be like 2 to 3 feet across it and, you know, real tall. It's never gotten any bigger than that, so I just moved it over here. I think it needs more love. It just never went well back there, and it's such a beautiful hosta. I mean, if it wants to get bigger, then that's great. So in the meantime, while it's going to work on getting bigger, I'm sure that's going to take a season or two, I put some taller marigolds. I call these lawnmower marigolds because Bill has fun when I deadhead them. You throw them in the yard and the lawnmower like sends orange flying. It's really fun. And then just my last dahlia that I grew from seed. This thing is exploding with growth. It's going to be so fun to kind of take progressive videos of it or pictures of it, because I mean, I think I can even see growth from yesterday. That it really enjoyed that storm. I know that there's something about thunder that does things. I did notice this yesterday too. That is really fun. These are dahlias that I started from seed, and yeah, look at them. I'm gonna have flowers. I get to know what color it is pretty soon, because it was just a seed mix. There's the garden critter. He is bunny hunting this stuff. Planted these baskets. I've never grown these ivy geraniums before, and I'm really excited because I noticed yesterday and today, obviously, that these blooms are starting to open. It's a really deep burgundy, so I planted that with this this ornamental black pepper, just because I thought the black and the burgundy would be beautiful together. So here is the garden critter. I have a garden critter. I don't know how much you can see him in the bright sun, but there's the garden critter. He keeps this path very safe. He goes through the garden and finds the bunnies. He's much of a bunny hunter. Here's some little tomato plants that they went through. They were actually going through quite a bit of transplant shock. One of them, which is funny because it was this one, got beat up when we put the compost in. So the one that got beat up when we put the compost in is actually the biggest and doing the best. So I'm sure Bill, I'm sorry about my shadow, I'm sure Bill will be happy to hear that, because I think he felt bad when the compost kind of looked like it broke it. Excuse me, am I in your way? Yeah? I'm sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. This is the milkweed that is starting to come up nicely. The castor beans, and they're just they're exploding with growth since I put them in there. Just was that last week that I put them in there, and they're already twice the size that they were, so that's really fun to see them. There I am. You see them growing so well. So it's very sunny out here today. And the cathedral bell that is going to take over the shepherd's hook there. This was a fun little project that I did yesterday. I can take it up onto the picnic table where we can actually see it. So I found this old basket that I used to collect things that I would harvest in, but you can see it's getting just real old. All I did was lined this with some heavy-duty black plastic and filled it with some potting soil, and I put these 2 Tiny Tim tomatoes in here. So what a fun way of displaying my little tomatoes. I was excited for that as a fun decoration for the table. I put another Tiny Tim tomato in here, ground cover that got traumatized over the winter, and but it is gonna do some blooming this year. It's usually just a carpet of blooms all along here and just thick, but it's still mad, but it is recovering. There's like little hopes coming up here that I just need to weed out. I think this grass seed is from this thing, and that normally this just shades it out and so it doesn't come up, because I've never had that germinate that many seeds from that. This garden is really starting to fill in nicely. We've got this pretty corner hosta. I love the color of that. It's that beautiful kind of blue hosta. And then I've got 2, I don't know, are they sage? Are they salvia? I don't know what we call them, but they're beautiful. Purple, that one's purple, and the shorter one over here is pink. And obviously the pollinators just love it. It's full hostas back here that are starting to grow in. I just love the blue, the variegated ones. They're just so beautiful. So cool. Back to the peas. The peas are still just, I mean, they're starting to grow, and that's great. The buckwheat is really starting to grow too. I wish it would flower, but I keep planting more and more seeds here, and nothing comes up. It's like a dead zone. It's so frustrating. I don't understand if those seeds are bad. I know that I took, I'm planting some in little pots now. Like, I'm gonna get them to germinate one way or another. And that's fine at this point, that I'll have taller peas on one side, and then, you know, basically succession planting. It's forcing me to do succession planting. I did add some dirt to my potato bucket, but I need more dirt in my potato bucket. That's really exciting. It's doing really well. And the radishes are doing really well. So excited to eat them. English breakfast radishes. And then I think these are like, I don't know, they're Baker Creek ones. Giant Sicily or something. I don't know, but look at, I think that thing grew since last night, because I came and looked at that one yesterday, and I was like, it's a little soon. And I think it has grown since last night, so that's wonderful. I am not scared of bees at all. I love bees. I love hornets even, like the solitary hornets. They do so much for your garden. They're just so wonderful. These things scare the bugs right out of me. They are, I think it's eating something. Oh, isn't it just gross? Oh, God. These are bald-faced hornets. They are aggressive. I don't know. Somebody can try and tell me if there is any good to them. What the hell they're good for, but I don't think they're good for shit. My in-ground potatoes. So we are experimenting with in-ground potatoes versus, sorry, that wasp is coming towards me again. We are working, trying to figure out in-ground potatoes versus bucket potatoes. So I'm just excited to experiment with that. The onions are actually doing pretty good this year. So this is one of my mortgage lifters in the back, and it's got this cat-faced, like the double bloom. There it is, the double blooms that come together, and I'm kind of excited. I know some people might pick these off, but I'm excited to see what happens here. I think we've got 2 blooms coming together, so hopefully they will pollinate and we'll be able to get a giant tomato. So this is my genius idea. I was having some problems with the rabbits eating my brassicas that were in these pots. I was really concerned that they were going to come and start eating cucumber plants and, you know, the peas that are over in that pot and all of that. We have this temporary dog fence that we bought. Hopefully, a rabbit keeper outer. I'm hoping that it works. I don't see any new damage, but you can see that like all those bottom, there's left 2 leaves on each one of those. There was this pot over here that has, there was nothing left. There was a stick sticking out of there. I'm gonna walk around here. They did it to all of them. Like, they must have been jumping into the baskets and eating the bottom leaves of the brassicas. So they did some damage to the one. I don't think I'm going to get very many broccoli out of it, but it does look like they left the Brussels sprouts and some of the cauliflower alone. So hopefully, it's still a fun experiment to see what I'm going to get out of my out of the baskets this year, and just see how that all works. So it's all looking really great after the rain last night. I do still have some brassicas and lettuces and spinach and stuff that's outside of that over along here. If I need to, I will definitely move this in there. And the truth is, I probably shouldn't wait until I need to. Probably should just do it, because like this lettuce is dead. The little bugger ate it. So I don't know. This one's hard because I've been eating off of it, so I'm not sure who's been eating off of it, if it's me or the bunny. This one I think is the bunny. I wouldn't have eaten off of this little stick here, so. But I think that's old damage too. Nope. Look at that. Freaking little bunny probably comes in or comes up over here and then runs down into... It's really a little bunny. But, oh, look at... Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, this is so exciting. I just found that my broccoli has a little bitty head on it. It's just a little baby one. So I really need to protect this one. I really might move this one back into the fence today, so that, because that would make me sad if the bunny were to get that after it's even started to do a little head on it. Let's see. This one is just a Seeds of Change broccoli. It didn't give a variety. It was just from the brand Seeds of Change. But look at how gorgeous these blooms are. So fun. So pretty. I love snapdragons. I love snapdragons, and I love these trailing ones because they could just get so much more full than regular snapdragons. We already touched base on this. I just put this new hummingbird feeder out. I have another small one over on the other side over there. We're gonna put this one out and leave it hanging on the green stalk so that little hummingbirds have some extra food. This is a new hanging basket I bought. I've always wanted to try one of these. I found this one for less than $5, and I thought, well, I can handle that. And I put some strawberry spinach in it because I'm really looking forward to just that being even a decorative plant. You know, seeing the little berries that come off of it. And later in the season, when things are on sale, I can always switch it out with a different plant. But for now, I love it. And so here's the view from the garden this morning. I really need to clean up the patio. I always need to clean up the patio. Ask Bill. There's always stuff there.